Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can use face swap in RightBooth. Now you're going to need RightBooth version 7.16.0 or later in order to use this new feature. Now the first thing I want to say is that in order to use face swapping in the current version of RightBooth, you will need your computer connecting to the internet, because I've decided to use a face swap service provider. So the first thing to do is to show you the face swap API service provider. Let me go to their website. And here we are. It's at api.market/store/capix/face swap. And this is the service. When you subscribe, you can subscribe to the basic model, which gives you 100 face swaps a month for free. Now that's quite useful because it lets you set up and test the whole service. So what you need to do is you need to register for an account, so set up an account on the api.market. Then you subscribe to face swap, and this button down here will say subscribe until you've actually subscribed. As you can see, I'm already subscribed to the 100 per month. The other thing you need to do is to create an API key, and that will be used in RightBooth, and I'll show you that later on. Now you can do that down here, API keys, and as you can see I've already created an API key, but you hit the create API key button, give it a name, and I would suggest that you go for a never expiring key, so that will run permanently for you. So once you've got your API key and once you're subscribed to the actual service itself, then you're ready to move on to the next step. So before I continue with what you need to do, let's just talk a little bit about what the Capix face swap technology requires. So I've done that in a slide on the RightBooth event that I've got open at the moment. So let's go there. So the Capix face swap requirements are that you need a photo and you need an image that you want to put your face onto. So here you can see a photo that I've taken, and here is a particular character that I've chosen, and basically my face is going to be taken from my photo and placed onto the character. Now for face swap to work correctly, both these images need to be JPEGs. That's the first point to mention. They both have to be the same size and they both have to be the same shape. Now I'm going to be showing you how to use square photos in this demo. So the size of these photos should be identical, and very importantly, both of these photos, both of these images have got to be publicly available on the internet. Now what do I mean by that? Well, it means that these photos have got to be uploaded onto the internet and be available for Capix to find, and I'll show you how to do that later. So let's just have a quick look at the workflow. So the way it's going to work in RightBooth is that RightBooth takes a photo, then the user is asked to choose a character, and I'll show you how to do that later. So these are just images of one person, and it's important that when you take a photo you only have one person in it as well, so it will do one photo face swap at a time. So once the photo has been taken and the character has been chosen, RightBooth will then upload the photo to the internet, and I'll talk about that later. Once the photo has been uploaded to the internet, RightBooth will call the face swap service to perform the swap. Now that can take a few seconds to happen, and RightBooth waits for that process to happen, and then finally RightBooth will download the resulting image back onto the computer. So, what do I mean when I say that these images have to be publicly available on the internet? Well, let's take this character. It's got to be somewhere on the internet that is publicly addressable and downloadable by a URL. So I'm going to show you that now, because I've actually uploaded these characters onto my website. So let me just go to Google. If I just type into here airvalleysoftware.com/face swap climber1.jpg and hit the enter key, you can see that I've got this image available to anybody on the internet on my own website. So that's what I mean by publicly available. Now, I probably will keep these images on this website for a while, but don't you rely on this. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have your own publicly available website folder for the images, and that's going to allow the Capix face swap technology to take that image and use it when it performs its face swapping feature. So step 2 really is to get yourself what's known as a hosted web domain. Now, I'm not going to explain fully how to do this, there's plenty of information on the internet. I'm also struggling to remember exactly what I'm saying here, so I've actually got some notes that I'm going to refer to while I'm talking about this. So as I say, you get yourself a hosted web domain, and it's one that provides an FTP account. Then you can have a folder on your web domain where the face swap characters can be stored, as I've just shown you. And also during the event, RightBooth can also upload the photos that it takes to this domain. So then you've got your photo uploaded, and you've also got your character available for the face swap routine to function correctly. So I would imagine that many of you have already got a website, and if you have, then you've got the ability to upload photos to it already. But for those who don't have a web domain, there are many companies out there that provide domain names and also FTP accounts to allow you to upload images to it. So let me just show you a couple. The one that I use for my airvalleysoftware.com website is hosted at ZetaHost. It's very reasonable. I mean, you can have a free account, but unfortunately with the free account you can't have a domain name. But with the Zeta personal account you can have one free domain for a year. You've got full FTP uploading, and it only costs £2.40 per month. So that's really reasonable. There are other providers as well for web hosting. Ionos is a good one. This is even cheaper. It's £1 a month, and that gives you a free web domain, FTP uploading, and everything you need to host files publicly on the internet. So as I say, I'm not going to explain how you do all that. There's plenty of information on the internet, but basically you've got to get yourself a web domain, a domain name, and a web hosting account with a professional web hosting company. So once you've got yourself a web domain and the ability to upload files via FTP, you will have your FTP account details that's from your provider. You can then configure RightBooth to allow files to be uploaded by it by FTP to your website. Now the way to do that is to go into Settings, Social Media, FTP. So here you can enter your FTP details. Now the host information, username and password will all be available to you through your FTP account from your domain provider. So you can enter your details into there. So let's assume that you have obtained the domain name superfaceswap.com. So the root folder is superfaceswap.com. This is your website address. And what you need to do is to specify a work subfolder in there. That's where RightBooth is going to be uploading the photos to during the face swap process. So you can create a subfolder. Let's call it face swap. This means that when RightBooth is playing the event and uploading files, it'll be uploading the files to https://www superfaceswap.com/face swap. Now, if you turn this on here, that means that once you've got all the details in and you play the event, RightBooth will be ready and able to upload files to your AI work subfolder. The next thing you need to do is to get yourself some face swap images. Now, after you've installed RightBooth version 7.16.0, there are some example images that are installed into the RightBooth media library. So let's take a look at those. You will find them in this folder here, RightBooth 7 library, images, characters. And there are 16 characters that I've created for you, which you are free to use. Now, these images might not be enough for you, probably won't be, so you may want to create your own. Well, if you want to create your own, there are plenty of AI image generators out there, and I used Microsoft's free AI image generator, which you can find at this address. So we're at create.microsoft.com/en-us/features/AI image generator. Now, all of the images I've got here were created using this free generator. So what you need to do is to sign up for an account, and then you can start using this to create your own images. So let me just show you how this works. Click in here. So you can type in any description you want in order to create a new image. You can choose some different sizes. I'm going to stick with the square one, but you could go for portrait images or landscape images. So I'll stick with the square. So let's enter a description. Now, rather than typing, I've actually pre-typed one here, which is this. Let's paste it into here. So it's a photo of a tennis player holding the Wimbledon trophy facing the camera. Let's see what it comes up with. Yeah, they look pretty good. So I'm going to probably use this one. So I'll download this. Let's have a look in here. I'm going to rename it in here, so let's just go for Wimbledon. Make it a JPEG. So if I right click on this and cut it out of the downloads folder, I'm going to add it into my library of images here. So this is the set of images that I got from the RightBooth installation. I'm going to put this one in as well. Let's paste it in. So we have another one here. Now, the thing about all these images is they are 720 by 720, each one of them. And it's probably a good idea to get into the habit of making your images no bigger than 1000 by 1000. And the reason for that is because it will take less time for the face swap service to perform the swapping. You don't want very, very large files, that's what I'm saying. This one is 1024 by 1024, so I'm going to reduce that down to 720 by 720 so that it matches all the others. I'm going to do that in the GIMP, so let's just quickly drop this into the GIMP. I'm going to resize it down to 720, and I'm going to overwrite it. Let's make it high quality. So I've very quickly just created an image using the Microsoft image generator, and I've downloaded the file and I've added it into my RightBooth 7 images library characters. So experiment with the image creator. There are also lots of other services out there that can do this, so there may be better ones that you might find, but that's the way that you can create your own images. Always make sure that you create an image that's just got one face in it. otherwise the face swap service won't work correctly. The next thing you need to do is to upload all of your face swap character images onto your web domain in the face swap folder. Now the reason for that is because firstly, you don't want RightBooth to have to upload those face swap characters every time during the face swap process. So if they're already available on the internet, then it will save time for the face swap process itself. So the way to do that is to get yourself a utility to allow you to upload those files. Now you may find that your web host provider gives you a tool to upload files onto your web domain. The one that I use is called FileZilla. Let's have a look at that. So FileZilla is a well tried and tested client application for uploading files to websites. And you can get it from this location, filezillaproject.org, download.php. So once you've installed FileZilla, you can then upload files to your website. So as I say, what you need to do is to upload all the files from here and place them into the face swap folder that we mentioned earlier on your website. Here I'm running FileZilla. I'm looking at airvalleysoftware.com and the face swap folder, and you can see that I've uploaded all the files into this face swap folder. So the one that's missing on here is this one, the Wimbledon one, which I've just created. So I'm going to put that up there as well. So very easily just drag and drop this onto FileZilla. FileZilla uploads the file and adds it into the folder, and as you can see, there it is. Actually, it's quite a large file is that one, so I might spend some time reducing that file in future by reducing the quality. In fact, let's have a go at that now. So back into the GIMP. I'm going to resave this, but with a slightly less quality on it. Let's go for 85. If I go back into here, we now see that this is 133K. The reason for making it smaller is because the whole process is speeded up if your files are kept small. So I'm going to drag that back into FileZilla again. It's asking me if I want to overwrite. Yes, I will. And as you can see now, Wimbledon.jpg is just 137K, so it's a much more manageable file. So as I say, make sure that all the files that you are going to be using for face swap characters are available on your web domain in a publicly addressable URL. The other thing to mention here is that you only need to do this once. Once all your face swap character files are uploaded to your web domain, then RightBooth and the face swap service can make use of them. So they're not being uploaded constantly, one after another, during the process. They're always there for use. So let's just have a quick look at this new Wimbledon image to make sure it's available publicly. So into the browser, let's go for airvalleysoftware.com face swap wimbledon.jpg, and there you go. The next thing you want to do is to set up RightBooth for face swapping. So go into Settings, AI, and down here we have the section for face swapping. Now take the API key that you had from the first step from the AI.marketplace and add that in here. Now in here you want to add the URL directory of your character images. So the place that you uploaded all your character images, you want to put the full path into here. So let me just get that from here. paste that into there. So that's airvalleysoftware.com/face swap /. And you're then ready to try testing it. So let's give this a go. First thing you've got to do is find a test image on your computer. So I'm going to choose an image that I took earlier, which is a photograph of myself, which is this one. So I've got a test image here. Now down here you can choose a test character from the ones that you uploaded. So let's go for the Wimbledon one. And then you can simply hit the test button and see what happens. And as you can see, RightBooth has sent the photo up onto the internet. Then both the photo and the Wimbledon.jpg have been used by the Capix service provider to do the face swap, and then RightBooth will automatically download the resulting image. So we can see that that process has worked. Now the other thing you need to make sure is that the camera feed in RightBooth is the same size and shape as the character images. Now I know that my character images are 720 pixels by 720, so they're square. So you've got to set up your camera to deliver that size. So let's go into settings. Now I'm using a webcam. So if I look on the webcam video section, you can see that I'm using a Logitech C270 and I've got the video size set to 1280 by 720 pixels. Now for the video feed you can see that it is landscape. So that's not the same size or shape as the character images. So what I need to do is to apply a crop to the camera feed. You can do that here, crop videos. And as you can see, I've already set up the width and the height for cropping at 720 by 720. And you can now see that the feed is square and it's the same size as the character images. So that's a good fit, it matches exactly. You've also got to make sure that you do that in the webcam photo section. So again, I've gone for 1280 by 720 as a camera feed, but I'm cropping it to 720 by 720. Now, if you're not using a webcam, if you're using a DSLR camera, for example, you have to do the same there. So in DSLR, you can apply a crop to the incoming camera photos. Again, you could turn this on and set this to be 720 by 720. So that completes all the one-time setup steps. Once you've done all that, you can then start creating events and playing events for face swapping. So let's have a look at a typical event that you might create. And I've got one loaded here, so let's have a look at it. In the designer, it is just a photo capture event. I've got it set up to capture one photo. Go into the event structure on the section Photo AI, and you can see this new section at the top here, which is face swapping. You can have no, which means it won't do any face swapping. You can have yes automatically, so that the face swap will happen without the user having to make a choice of character. I'm going to go for ask the user. This one allows you to put a set of images on the screen that lets the user choose from one. You pick the image list and you choose the images that you want to show the user for selection. Now these are all coming from the media library, and just remember that all these images are held locally, but they're also available on your web domain as described earlier. So I've got them all here. The one that's missing in this list is the Wimbledon one. Let's just go down here, we should find Wimbledon, and here we go. So I'm going to take one of the other ones out. I'll take the baseball one out, remove that one. So let's go and have a look at the editor. When you choose to add the face swap screen, you will get this screen here, and as you can see, I've now got the Wimbledon character in here. If I double click this grid, again we can choose to remove some. Let's take the first 4 out. and now you can see there's fewer to choose from. So it's entirely up to you how you set this up. I've also added a photo placeholder here for the photo that's been taken, and I've also added a few text prompts to allow the user to choose one of these images. So the process is that the user takes a photo and then can choose an image, and then RightBooth will automatically perform the face swap and show the user the photo at the end. So let's have a go at this. Play the event. So let's take a photo. I'm now on to the choose face swap characters screen. You can see that I've got my photo here and it's prompting me. Let's have a go at the climber. So let's choose that and see what happens. Now RightBooth is uploading my photo and then it's passing it to the Capix face swap provider. Capix is performing the face swap and RightBooth is waiting for the file. When the file is finished, RightBooth will download the file to the computer. And there you go. So there's my chosen image, and there's the photo that's been created by the service, and RightBooth has downloaded it and is showing it to the user. Now you can then print that out, you can repeat the process, you can create more photos. It's as flexible as you want to allow it, really. Let's have a quick look at this screen in the editor to show how I've got the before and after photos showing. Actually, let's just escape out here and I'll just show you what it's created in the output folder. There's quite a few examples here of things I've tried before. So that's the one that I've just done, but there's been other examples. Also notice that it's possible to combine the face swap service with the background removal service. So I can put myself on a beach as Superman, or I can be on a street as Superman, and so on. So it's quite flexible really here. Let's have a quick look at that screen in the editor. The show photo screen. I've got two objects here. This one is the actual latest photo. So this is the one that shows the face swap photo. This one is the face swap image. So it's a new option in the content for an image item, and it is this here, face swap image. In other words, this will show the user the chosen image that they chose on the face swap AI screen. So that gives you the ability to see the before and after on the show photo screen. So that's it in terms of editing the RightBooth event. So I hope you've followed all this. If you've any questions, please ask on the forum or send me an email and I'll try my best to answer them. But I hope you can see that it's a fairly flexible package in terms of face swapping. There's lots more that I'm planning to do in future, but right now this is where it's at. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.